So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start in the 2 o'clock, but before starting, this is organized by the KOSHA, Korea Occupational Safety and Health Agency. We'll show some video from the KOSHA, just 3 or 5 minutes. And it is in Korean, but then the Yuri Kim will translate, summarizing information in English. So, video kudasai.
KOSHA, Korea's leading institution for industrial accident prevention. For over 40 years, the Korea Occupational Safety and Health Agency, KOSHA, has dedicated itself to creating a work environment where people can work with peace of mind. Since its establishment in 1987, KOSHA has laid the foundation for occupational safety and health, growing alongside the nation's industries. The agency continues to work for the protection for all workers, including vulnerable groups such as foreign laborers. So KOSHA promotes a culture of safety by providing financial support, conducting research and development, and performing certification and inspection of various machinery. In response to the fourth industrial revolution, KOSHA is also taking proactive steps to address emerging risks of future. While the industrial accident rate continues to decline, it remains at a high level, and the environment surrounding industrial accidents is rapidly evolving. Vulnerable worker groups are diversifying, and disparities in workplace safety are expected to widen. So in response, the Korean government has implemented major policy reforms such as the complete revision of Occupational Safety and Health Act and the enactment of the Serious Accident Punishment Act. Amid these changes, KOSHA is striving to contribute to national policy goals more actively than ever. Under a new paradigm of industrial accident prevention, the agency aims to become Korea's top professional institution for accident prevention, achieving its goals of reducing serious accidents and fulfilling its public responsibilities. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. And then Korea has, first of all, thank you very much for coming this session. And the title is very, very attractive in the digitalization and AI or some big data management. So we have the many participants, very important participants we have. I'm Song Kyu-gang, chairing this session. I'm the president of the International Commission on Occupational Health, ICO, and founded in 1906, and oldest and then very largest organization on occupational health. So if you are not members, so please join the ICO members. My co-chair is Secretary General Diana Gagliardi.
Okay. Thank you, Seon-kyu. And good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us in this session. I'm happy to welcome you, and I think we should not lose time and already give the word to the speakers. So, Seon-kyu, would you like to?
Yeah. Today, our title is the prediction and prevention, how digital technologies are reshaping the OSH paradigm. We have actually 7 speakers with 6 topics. But then first speaker, she is the chief of the Occupational Safety and Health in ILO, and she came here, but in unpredictable reason, reason she went back to dialogue. And but she has a very fantastic, very beautiful slide. So you can get it from the handout. You can just check the handout. And so we have today and six speakers with 5 topics, and that I will manage in the first. I will introduce first the 3 speakers, and Diana will introduce the other 3 speakers. And each speaker has around 13 minutes, and then after taking all the presentation, we will take in the question and answer. So if we have the questions, please summarize and then ask at the end of presentation. So I'm going to introduce the first speaker. Chang-Hoon Lee, he is the manager of the Big Data department, Korea Occupational Safety and Health Agency. He will talk about the plan for establishing a supporting system of industrial disaster prevention based on AI. So Chang-Hoon, floor is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Chang-Hoon Lee, manager of the Big Data department at KOSHA. Presentation. Today, I would like to briefly our AI-based approach to industrial accident prevention. This is today's outline. I will begin with a short introduction to KOSHA, followed by the background for adopting AI, and then I will highlight the current AI-based system in operation and conclude with our future direction. Introduction of KOSHA is past. Already we introduction the KOSHA past. And background of adopting AI. In recent years, we have witnessed a clear shift. Digital transformation DX is no longer just about adopting digital tools. As AI replaces traditional digital tools, KOSHA is shifting toward proactive AI-driven safety management to respond proactively to complex risks in industrial sites. We are actively incorporating AI into our core operations. At the core of our AI strategy is high-risk group targeting system. This is a system combines 2 key elements. AI model that predict high-risk workplaces AI prediction model, and macro-level alert system based on economic indicator. Together, these tools help us proactively identify accident-prone sites and take timely, targeted preventive actions. We first developed prediction model or manufacturing sector, and then expanded it to be construction and service industry. Let me start by explaining the high-risk workplace prediction model. Before adopting AI, selecting high-risk workplaces relied heavily on manually process. Each team collect data separately, and selection quality varied depending on individually experience and judgment. It was time-consuming and inconsistent. But with AI, we have centralized data, combine internal data and external data. Internal data is workplaces have machinery or chemical material and accident reports, and external data is fire department source and employment insurance. This allowed us to generate update the high-risk workplace list automatically and ensure higher accuracy and objective in project selection. In short, we shift from intuition-based decision on data-driven, scientific, and targeting. We don't stop at prediction. We apply results directly to real-world prevention efforts. List score calculated monthly about for 40,000 manufacturing sites and used as a key reference when selecting targets for our prevention program. As a result, about 70% of the selected sites for these programs workplace classified as high risk by our AR model. These sites are given priority for financial support and selected for technical support and supervised by the Ministry of Employment and Labor. This is how prediction results are directly translated into prevention policies. Only 22% of workplaces are classified as high risk by AI model, but they accounted for nearly 80% fatal accident. Yeah. This means the risk of death over 13 times higher at those sites, proving the model prediction as value. This slide is summarized the key outcome of our AI system. First, we saw a 23 reduction industrial fatality rate within 1 year, from 0.68 to 0.52, 10,000 workers. Second, we saved over 21,000 hours by automating the process of selecting target workplaces. These results prove that AI can deliver real and measurable impact in field. Next, I would like to explain the risk alert system. In addition to site level prediction, we've developed Korea's first industrial accident risk alert system. This tool predicts accident risk 3 months in advance using trends in social and economic indicators such as employment, construction volume, and production levels. It shifts the focus from post-accident response to macro level, proactive targeting of high-risk industry. This system allows us to prioritize preventive action even before signs appear in the field. Our risk alert system uses sector-specific variables such as operation rate and production capability for manufacturing and construction area and payment volume for construction industry. These indicators are used to build industry and region-specific prediction model based on economic trend. The model forecasts accident risk 3 months in advance and visualizes the result rational map to issue a proactive alert. It's a forward-looking system that allows timely preventive action. This is our internal big data platform, which is actively used by KOSHA field officers. It's a fully operational tool embedded in our daily work. This is a heat map, high-risk workplaces by region or industry. We providing a workplace list, high-risk workplace list. Beyond the prediction, we have also developed AI tools to improve daily operations and public engagement. First, we developed a language model, like GPT, language model that automatically classifies industrial accident report into accident type, causative object, and accident pattern significantly enhancing work efficiency. Second, we built a smart search system for safety law and regulations, enabling fast and accurate keyword-based filtering across the legal content. Last and third, we use GPT-based that lead and summarize the research report to help user find clear and conceptual answer. There's a tool reduce manual work and make our service more intelligent and accessible. Last, future development and plan. Moving forward, KOSHA's AI safety system will focus on two directions. First, we strengthen a proactive response to high-risk workplaces by combining AI prediction model with a risk alert system based on economic indicators. This helps us identify and intervene before serious accidents happen. Second, we will expand AI-based support for small and micro enterprise, using tools like GPT for interactive consultation and computer vision CV technology for automated on-site risk direction. Together, these two pillars form the foundation of smarter, data-driven safety system. In summary, we are building a proactive AI-powered safety system that delivers real value. This system benefits for business or workers and regulators by improving safety, cutting costs, and enabling smarter decisions. Okay, thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Chang-won, for keeping the time. And although it is very the busy slide and very difficult to understand, and I understand that the KOSHA contribute for providing for strategy for prevention for occupational accidents through AI-based information. Thank you very much for your presentation. I would like to invite the next speaker. His topic is how data science empowers my research and fulfills my responsibility to society. Jin-Ha Yoon is a professor of the Department of Preventive Medicine, Yonsei University, Republic of Korea. Jin-Ha, floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you for introducing. Today I just introduce my job because so sometimes I'm occupational environmental medicine. My major is occupational environmental medicine. So today just introduce my job. So for my job, how data science empowers my research and sometimes preparing my response to society. As you know, my job is writing scientific paper. Yes, and sometimes provide health consultation as a doctor. And to provide vulnerable group, as KOSHA already do that. And finally, returning the knowledge because my expertise from the workers' experience because worker did not get hurt, did not get illness. I cannot be an expert sometimes. So my social responsibility is return my knowledge to the patient workers. To do that, my core message is how data science helped me to do that. To start my presentation, I'm talking about the rate determining step. In the chemistry, it's a very familiar concept, the rate determining step. Sometimes we start to something, there is always the rate determining step. In data science, if we can modify this rate determining step, we can do something very fast, very efficiently. Data science is a blend of computer science and static and domain logic. Before 5 years ago, computer science, mathematics is very important for data science. After GPT or some language model, the domain knowledge is more important in data science. Using data science based on reproducibility is a core concept of automation. From the data wrangling, after the communication, this side is, if we can make this side automated based on reproducibility, our job is very efficient, become efficiently. First, my job is writing article because I have many students, many colleagues, and they start topic setting, after data collection, after data exploration, analyze, and reporting. Using Excel, you're using PPT, using DAS. Sometimes this is a back-end post-processing. If the data is changed, or sometimes the title change, we always reanalyze the data, and after that, visualization and communication. So if we make this stuff as automation, we can do more efficient things like this. And 5 years ago, we used SAS static code or SPS, something like that. This is the, after we analyzed, paste into Excel, manually create a formatted table, email to print to the mentor or professor. If we change the idea or data, we step back and forth again and again. But in this step, if we write some programming language in usable like R or Python, something like that, it's automatically make this formatting table. If we each share the network link, we do not need to paste an Excel menu creating something like that. Research can focus on meaning and logic, and data science agent, automatic agent, handle the rest. So I needed to progression to the professor, so I need a lot of scientific article. After we know this process, my lab public number of 40 or 2 times higher using that data science automatic process. In the concept, I use the MITL. MIT is machine in the loop, sometimes human in the loop. Its core meaning is that we do not make all of the system as AI. Just we analyze what is a human job, what is a machine job, just make automatic by the machine job. Yes. So the machine in the loop, using machine in the loop, our role is recentered on the human experts, others machine do. So next case is that Ministry of Environmental Research asked me, there is a 2 times higher number of new industrial area in Korea. There's almost 1,200 more than industrial area. How to visit all of that industrial? It's a time consuming, and we can do that because we just 365 days, so we can visit all of that. So my lab make a digital twin. Digital twin means that make a copy of digitalization of the real world using big data. Like this, first steps, every first step to make AI, our lab is a job analyze. It's the same concept what we did in 10 years ago, 20 years ago, job analyze. After job analyzed, we figure out the back and forth step. Here, in Ministry of Environment, industry complex selection and data analyzed and meeting of the on-site visual report after prototype meeting, and now they start health risk assessment. Using that, I think this is a back-end process. So data analysis by my hours, automatic machine. After that, on-site visit, instead of the on-site visit, we make a satellite data observation. Using that, human only focus on community discussion or prioritizing and risk assessments. The data is maybe there's a key code, GPS code, or industrial code, cost number of the chemical information. Using that, we use the satellite. When you figure out here, the automatic analyze of the health risk assessment, like this. How can the years? And this chart is changed. I'm looking forward to the geographical area, the hometown, or what is the hometown and industrial. If the hometown and industrial is close, we need to prioritize that there is a prioritizing to risk assessment because the city is exposed to from the industrial areas air pollution. So finally is my response to suicide because my main job is, another main job is workers' compensation. So in workers' compensation, there is a keyword is disease, hazardous chemical, and the causality. Using that, when we try to make a decision whether there is a causality or not, we just using the similar case. But the KOSHA and KOL already make a big data, but such a system already KOSHA using the LLM, but some compensation database system stored by keyword base. The keyword is the very special word. The worker did not use special word, just a scientist or a professor or some government officer use a keyword. So we sometimes, the worker try to find a similar case who get similar case with the workers, they have some limitation from the data democratic perspective. Accessibility gap, limited cost, knowledge asymmetry, something like that. To solve that problem, we should make some AI to understand workers' words, not a professor, not a special expertise worker. Using that, last year, the Google and Facebook opened their open source of RAZ. RAZ means retrieval is search some database, and augmented reality is LLM model. So we made this LLM model like that. If the worker use input like that, can my lung cancer occur if I do shift demonstrate working? Please suggest direction for occupational disease epidemic investigation. After that, my AI extract vectorizing keyword like the shift, demanding lung cancer. Using that, semantic search means that this search is a keyword, but the AI can understand workers' word like a ship or a boat or just a sea working, I work in the sea, something like that. After that, search DB of the workers' compensation. Workers' compensation data is not public data, but we can modify the workers' compensation data. After that, they search the case 1, 2, 3. Using this vector data, they send to LLM. LLM summarize and find the meaning of that, respond to the user. In the case of ship, installation work often involved asbestos in the past because AI always learned about the asbestos used in shipbuilding, shipbreaking work in almost 10, 20 years ago. So using this case and summarize this answer. So after that, we use this AI system for my worker compensation system. Worker compensation scientist. So it reduces time to compensation period almost or 30%. So my conclusion is that how data science empowers my research and fulfill my responsibility to society. First is job analyzed. After job analyzed, we try to find rate limiting step. So we try to modify the rate limiting step using data science. The method of data science is machine in the loop, just automation, not all of the processes, just automating rate limiting step with the data science. After that, this AI cannot be used the workers because the worker did not know the keyword of a specialized keyword. That we need the AI understand workers' word. So RAZ and NLP process is our method to do my job. So my conclusion is that after that we use data science, just the human do their job analyze, it's a human job. And the final job is discussion with human, the human job. Between this step, the AI do that. So my conclusion, human to human. Thank you.
Thank you, Gina, for keeping exact time. And you just mentioned the two things. In the one is the how efficiently analyzing data, and I'm a little bit analog generation. So when I started to analyze, I do manually. Sometimes I mistook one thing and then wait one day and then do again. I spent a lot of time to do that. Now, based on your theory, we don't have to do that. We can save the time, and then how the effectively investigate in occupational disease. So it's quite impressive in human job and machine job. Thank you very much. And next, I would like to invite Dr. Mahinda Sene Birantin. He's working for the. Oh, he recently changed, but he was labor inspectors in Australia, and now he's working work health strategist in the Yurang country, Australia, and he will talk about the AI tsunami and the changing the OSH paradigm. Floor is yours. Yeah.
Thank you, Seong-kyu. And firstly, thank you very much to you and KOSHA for the invitation to speak at this very important OHS symposium. And I want to first start by taking you back to my student days in the early 1980s, when there was no internet, no mobile phones, and not even PowerPoint. So around the early 80s, an American futurologist called Alvin Toffler wrote a very interesting book that gained attention called The Third Wave. And that was about the new information technology revolution that was coming on following the agriculture revolution and then the industrial revolution. And he called this the third wave. And what Toffler did was to draw people's attention to what this technology revolution would be doing. And if you look at it today, after 40 years, you would recognize a lot of what are his predictions that we are grappling with today, as much as the benefits, some of the challenges that have come about. So today we see people talking about the new artificial intelligence and the big data, what we are talking today, this new wave that's coming on, and they are calling it more than a wave, they're calling it a tsunami. So is it, and these tsunamis supposed to engulf the way we work and live? So just thinking back on Alvin Toffler's prediction, are we as OHS professionals and others, are we prepared to grapple and handle this wave? And as you know, digital technology is already changing OHS practice, as we saw from the two previous presentations. And especially in my area of work, what we find is actively monitoring the work environment. We have now wearable devices, drones are used in looking at highly hazardous workplaces, and as we heard, AI-powered risk assessments. So what this is doing is giving us more speed and efficiency in using AI algorithms to analyze our data, as we have already heard so far. And what we hope it can do is to relieve those desk-bound OHS professionals. And having worked as a regulator, I see the time we spend at our desks analyzing data, writing reports, and hopefully it will relieve us to have more time for proactive strategic work in the field. So these are some of the devices, especially from the occupational hygiene health area. We have real-time monitors that can give you exposure data without sending to a lab and waiting for a few weeks. So that is really changing the practice of occupational hygiene. Many wearables that are used in ergonomics and areas. And that is really improving exposure assessments and how we tackle OHS issues. And the big question for me, I think as active with other ICO colleagues, is that I see the biggest challenge we have in occupational health and safety is the 85% of workers globally who don't have access to any the basic occupational health services. So would this new technology revolution help us to bring these services and improve the working conditions for those majority of the workers so that we can provide them decent work and working environments. But as with any technology change, there's negative impacts. There are winners and losers. And I think our colleagues next will be talking a bit more on this, so I won't mention more, but there's things like even cybersecurity threats that are increasing in our workplace. And of course, social science sectors are raising concerns on job security. Many jobs would they be done by through AI, through artificial AI and other forms. I mean, already some of the medical practices are seen that being taken over. And would this increase the already disparities we have between income and employment? And having worked in health and safety regulatory area, we see the regulatory frameworks, we are very much behind in catching up with a lot of technology change. And this rapid technology change is really a challenge for regulatory. The Australian Parliament just put out a report early this year looking at this, but I think it was very limited in that it looked at the impact on public sector workers. There's a lot more happening with this technology. So that's another area in the regulatory area that we need to look at. And with all that, people are already, like Toffler, writing about the AI tsunami. So this recent book just come out early this year by Professor Emily Bender, who is a linguist at Washington University, but also a lot of experience in the technology industry, she said. And as she says, what she very, I think, controversial calls the AI con, but she says there's a lot of hype about AI and that there's too much promises, and which has caused the anxiety among people about the impact of it. But in fact, she argues there that we can use this technology to much better use if rather than the technology owners, if the people take control of it and make the direction. And I think as OH professionals, I think the heading was, how do you respond to the shifting paradigm? I think we should be taking the steps to shift the paradigm ourselves rather than being shifted by the technology owners. So I want to finish up with something positive, as Professor Bender has said, what AI and the digital technologies can provide an example of what we can do with it. The South African Health Department has just consider using AI to do the X-rays and CT scan analysis. As you know, silicosis is the oldest occupational disease, but still kills thousands of people every year, and is gaining a lot more attention with the impact in several higher income countries as well. So, and TB, tuberculosis, is the largest killer of infectious diseases. So these two together kill a lot of people, especially not just South Africa, India, Brazil, China, larger countries, but almost in every country. And one of the challenges is to have screening of these workers regularly, but also to have accurate diagnosis so that the affected workers, it's an incurable disease, so the affected workers are properly compensated. So the South Africans have collaborated with India. I think they're trying to use it in India too. I think the WHO is doing some work on that. So this is, I think, a very positive area where we can have a significant change to how occupational health is practiced. And I think companies are talking about technology with a purpose. There are a lot of investors with money. They want to invest in things that bring social justice. So I think this is a very good example of an opportunity where we can use this new technology to bring better, decent work. And as the ILO has said, as one of its new pillars, occupational health and safety of workers as a basic human right. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mahinda. So you just showed the advantage of the AI used in the future, and we are now talking about in some yes, you can go back, and bipolarization in economically, and then richer is more rich, and then poorer is more poor. But it's the same happen in intelligence, or some the more intelligence, more they can using AI, they can more develop. But there's some people very difficult to catch up the new equipment of AI. So we should be harmonized anyway. So thank you very much for your presentation. Now I would like to hand over my chairship to Diana Gaglia.
Okay, thank you, Seung Kyu, and thank you to the speakers up so far for their wonderful presentations. Now I would like to call on stage Professor Quentin Durand-Moreau. He's from the Associate Professor of Occupational Medicine at the University of Alberta in Canada, and also board member of the ICO. So Quentin, the floor is yours. He will talk about psychosocial risk and digital technology, a brand new risk or a same old story. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Cagliardi. Thank you, Dr. Kang, for chairing this session. Thank you to KOSHA for inviting me to talk about this topic. So my presentation is not going to be so much on a review of all of the health effects of digital technology, AI, and all of the like. My presentation is going to be twofold. First of all, I would like us to take a little time to question the fact that AI, digital technology, would be such a revolution. And as someone who holds a French citizenship, I do have some expertise in revolution, generally speaking. And the second thing is that I would like to explore the idea of how we can use the tools that we have available to assess psychosocial risk and see whether or not those tools are relevant for the assessment of risk in the area of digitalization. So without further ado, let's get started with the first part. And I'm going to refer you to this now kind of old paper, but still quite relevant, because this publication is about what they called at that time computerization, and it goes along with digitalization. Those are, this publication is quite well known from Frey and Osborne, 2013. And this bizarre graph shows us the likelihood of jobs being computerized in the future. So the future back in 2013. So this probably corresponds to our current date at the moment. So how can we read this graph? So we have an x-axis going from 0 to 1, and I can use this here, and 1 being the highest probability of computerization. So everything that's in this area has a high probability of being computerized. And as we see, it's 47% of all employment that was considered as very likely computerized. And the problem is that a lot of people understood that 47% of jobs would disappear based on this. This is kind of a misunderstanding of this publication because it's not quite what Frey and Osborne have been writing. But as you can see, there's stacks of many different colors, and there's a lot of red here in high probability of computerization. The red corresponds to sales and related jobs. So it means that back in 2013, we were thinking that a lot of jobs in this business sectors of sales would be computerized. And we can think of it today. Yes, there's a lot of jobs that have been computerized in this field. We can go grocery shopping from the comfort of our smartphones nowadays, which is something that probably didn't exist at that proportion back in 2013. And on the opposite side, we have jobs that have a low likelihood of being computerized. And you can see a lot of green here, different shades of green corresponding to education and healthcare. And that makes sense. It's quite difficult to computerize jobs in these areas. So all in all, and based on this, and I'm just taking short examples to illustrate my point, the implementation of digital technology is certainly going to shuffle the distribution of jobs within different industries, within different business sectors. But the question is this the first time humanity is facing this? That's where I would like us to remember about history. There have been many innovative machines that have been invented back in the days and that have had considerable impact on the workforce and the history of labor. We can just mention the steaming machine, the assembly line, and especially the conveyor belt, which was a revolution when we think of the implementation of Fordism in the early 20th century. And believe it or not, but computers are around since 1947. So it's not, quite new. Like we are dealing with this technology for quite a while now. But there is an invention that I'd like to mention. Like it's one that's kind of closer to my heart. I don't know if it's the first one that's had such a huge impact in terms of labor disruptions, but the stocking frame machine brought an awful lot of disruptions on the job market, even leading in some areas in France, in the UK, to some social revolts. The Luddites in the UK, La Révolte des Canuts in French, where a lot of people got very angry and destroyed a lot of things. This was related to stocking frame machines. So the stocking frame machine has been invented back in the 17th century. And at that time, Queen Elizabeth I, we're not talking about the second, the first, would have said, consider though what the invention could do to my poor subjects. She was talking about the invention of the stocking frame machine. It would assuredly bring to them ruin by depriving them of employment, thus making them beggars. Think of this citation. It is fascinating how, it's something that could have been written today, talking about, like AI or platform or gig economy, like things like this. Those concerns were already existing back in the days and talking about the stocking frame machine. So a revolution, yes, likely. Is it the first one? Not likely. It is likely that the word of labor is changing not on a smooth, line graph, but with, disruptions. And digital technology is likely just one other of those disruptions. Not the first one, and likely not the last one. And in the past, the humanity has been able to adjust to this, and we will adjust to it, and there will be changes, but it's certainly not the first such revolution. So now, with this said, how can we appraise psychosocial risks with this context of digital technology? So first thing first, definitions. and I'm going to refer to some contributions from Stavros Laleka, who is quite a leader in this area. We are separating three different concepts: psychosocial factors, psychosocial hazards, and psychosocial risks. So psychosocial factors, think of those as parameters of your workplace. Exactly the same way you have temperature, you have humidity rate, you have the same kind of parameters when it comes to your psychosocial working environment. So we talk about demands, we talk about support, we talk about rewards, we talk about interpersonal relationship, and so on. At that stage, we're not looking into the quality of those. I'm not even saying that the demands are good or bad, or too little or too high. Those are just the parameters. When we have the worst case scenario of psychosocial factors, it becomes a hazard. This is how I explain it simply. The psychosocial hazards are basically the worst case scenario of a psychosocial factor. There is a better definition, of course, and basically it corresponds to the aspects of work design that have the potential to cause psychological, social, and physical harm. Like, it's not because it's psychosocial hazards that it's just creating mental diseases. And diseases is the step afterwards. When people are exposed to psychosocial hazards, then they can develop diseases. And those definitions, as you see, are very much mirroring the typical definitions of occupational hazards and occupational risk, which is quite convenient and easier for professionals to use this framework, whether they look at biological, chemical, biomechanical, and so on, all of those hazards. So here, usually we talk in terms of diseases, work-related depression, work-related anxiety, work-related PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorders, but also physical diseases. Some musculoskeletal disorders have a close connection to psychosocial hazards, and also cardiovascular diseases, where there's been an awful lot of research in this regard. So when it comes to analyzing workplaces with regards to psychosocial factors, we have a number of classifications. I know that our next speakers, Rotin and Samir, are going to talk about this. They will use another classification, the classification of Stavros Laleka and Aditya Jain. I'm referring to a French kind of standard in terms of psychosocial factors assessment, the classification from Marceline Baudier, Michel Golac, and Serge Volkov, and others, splitting the factors into 6 categories. Those 6 categories are quite simple to remember, and you can memorize it and appraise and analyze a workplace thinking of those domains. And if you assess those domains, you're going to be fairly comprehensive. So it goes all the way from work demands to employment insecurity. Those here are the factors, the parameters. And then we have the hazards here. And if we look into each category, we have some complexity in terms of hazards. So the thing is that we can't just, tick the box like work demands, yes, no. Emotional demands, high, low. No, we need to look into it qualitatively. So we have many, many tools to do that. But we have those, factors, and here hazards that correspond. So work demands, we can talk about the workload, but the problem with workload is that high workload and low workload can both be hazards. So it depends. We really need to appraise situations on a case-by-case basis. So with this said, we can look at the impact of digital technology using this kind of framework. And we can, attach publications, research, and studies that have been conducted and connect them with the different factors. So I'm not going to go into details, and I'm very far from being exhaustive. There's already an awful lot of research in this area, but we can just look at, say, social and work relations. We know that digital technology is connected to the idea of working from home. It's thanks to IT tools that we're able to work from home. And work from home affects the ability to get social support. So we know that digital technology has some impact in terms of social support. And it may lead to some disruptions in communication pathways, poor social relationship, and some professional isolation. And in terms of social and work relations, certain tasks, and especially some repetitive tasks that are still around in terms of digital technology, especially when it comes to moderation of web content, those repetitive tasks of reviewing, comments that are not yet automatized can lead workers to be exposed to very distressing content and sometimes PTSD, because it's sometimes very explicit content that workers have to deal with. So we can do all of this, domain by domain, and I will, save you time, but I'm not going to go into so many details. So just to tell you that this framework is still valid. If I go through a second approach, which is more qualitative, like this approach of psychosocial factors, hazards, and risks, is kind of an international gold standard, if I may say so. There are a lot of different qualitative approaches that are more like niche approaches. This one is one that I'm quite familiar with when I was trained myself in work psychology. It's stemming from the approach called clinics of activity, which is a social constructivist approach based on work from Lev Vygotsky, the psychologist that's quite influential in education psychology, is also been influential in work psychology. Basically, the key idea here is to envision work as a psychologically engaging activity. Work is not just completing movements, it's not moving, it's not just doing stuff. Work is a psychologically engaging activity as it allows the individuals to thrive, and by thriving, it allows them to develop their own health. To call work a psychologically engaging activity, we need to have different elements that are on this triangle. We have someone, myself, a worker with my history, my training, and so on and so forth. We have the others today. You are my others. Work is always an activity directed to some other peoples. Then we're all together, connected together with regards to a specific work object, a topic that is uniting us today. We're not just together because we like each other, but we like occupational health. That's what ties us together. And we're connected through instruments. And instruments can be either symbolic or technical. Symbolic, it's language, nonverbal communication. Technical, this tool, this screen, and so on. Digital technology is nothing more than a technical instrument. So the analysis could need to look into everything. And we shouldn't just restrict the analysis to one tool. We need to be mindful that work needs to be analyzed globally. And if we were to focus too much on one tool, it would act as a red herring. I have the moderators agitating themselves and begging me to end, so I'm going to skip this, just saying that this relationship between the worker and the tool is something dynamic. We've been looking into this question through some research that we've completed with a cohort of 5,000 healthcare workers. I can respond to questions if you have some. So all in all, the implementation of digital technology is a revolution, but not the first one. Regardless of digital technology, we shouldn't throw in the bin the very solid models that we have in terms of psychosocial risk assessment, psychosocial factor assessment, and so on. Those are still valid. We need to adjust them and use them to analyze workplace situations. And digital technology is a work instrument, like a hammer, like a workbench, like a pen. We need to still have an analysis of the entire situation. What the technology is used for. What are the performance indicators on which the worker is to be assessed? That's the real questions that we still have to have a look at, and we shouldn't be, focusing too much on the technology in itself. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the presentation. That was really interesting. I'm most of all impressed of the fact that already more than 10 years ago, when discussing about new technologies, the discussion was on whether they would substitute some workers and there would be some losses in employment, and this did not happen. And now the discussion with the artificial intelligence is exactly the same. So again, we are discussing whether it will substitute workers and there will be people losing their work. Probably it is a matter of how we use these technologies and how we integrate the use of the technology with the employment, and we train workers in such a way that they can continue be useful in the work market using the technology as tools, exactly as you said. So thank you very much. Now I would like to introduce the last speakers. We have a tandem of presenters, Dr. Roting Lin and Dr. Samir Chaudhary. Dr. Roting Lin and Dr. Samir Chaudhary are the co-chairs of the Scientific Committee on Work Organization and Psychosocial Factors of the ICO, International Commission on Occupational Health. And the floor is for you. We have 20 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Together.
Good afternoon. My name is Roting Lin, and I'm very happy to present this presentation together with my colleague, Dr. Samir. And I will present first, and then he will present, followed by me, and I will come back again. So over the past few days here at EXPO, I think we have learned a lot of AI and new technologies. But amid all the innovations, one question grounds us is, how is AI shaping the psychosocial experience of work? So is our talk, the influence of technology on work organization and psychosocial factor. And AI changes how work is structured and managed, as previous presenter mentioned. It's also changed the workers, the feeling of workers. And that's where we begin today. Drawing from recent publications, and I want to highlight 3 ways AI is already reshaping workplace. First, smart risk detection. AI helps identify hazards like heat, noise, repetitive stress before they cause harm. It shifts us from reactive safety to proactive prevention. Second, connected health tools. AI-driven devices can help us to detect early signs, like other professors mentioned, early signs of illness and promote healthier habits. The third point is personalized care path. AI expands access to health, to physical health care, and also mental health care. We can use those technology. Especially we can apply to underserved areas. I think that's what digitalization and AI can bring us. So overall, technology shape our day-to-day experience of work. But the question is, how digitalization and AI shape psychosocial health? So based on recent report and publications, I mapped 6 areas of concern where digitalization and AI may impact psychosocial health. And here, in the left, here, it is where organization begins. So from work path intensity, monitoring datafication, etc., and work time and boundaries. And the arrows here, it means how it evolved. So the working condition change our working behavior, and it may impact our mental health through the change to risk and through the mechanism like this, and then that is the health outcome, such as burnout, fatigue, and even depression, and workers may feel disengagement at work. So through this framework, we have seen how digitalization and AI reshape psychosocial health. So the question is, we know the benefit, we also know the disadvantage. So how can we shape technology to support psychosocial being, not silently eroded? So next, to further explore it, I'd like to welcome my colleague, Dr. Samir, to share his workplace experience first.
Thank you, Roting. Good day, everyone. Thank you, KOSHA, for inviting me to present on this topic at this global symposium. The topic is very dear to the heart of everyone who is working in the industries, especially people like me who are looking forward to the ways in which we can improve upon the psychosocial well-being of the employees by using the technology and the AI. So firstly, I mean, this is from the Financial Times, and it's an old one, but it is still relevant. And why have I put it here is to show the paradigm shift from how the risks changed from like self-reported work-related musculoskeletal disorders, which were reported quite high in number earlier to the COVID. But during the COVID, with the remoteness of the work and the rest of the psychosocial factors being added up, there was a totally like paradigm shift, and the psychosocial risks related to stress, depression, and anxiety started getting reported more and more. And that becomes a challenge for all over the world, for the industries as well as for the governments. And I've put down here a few of the representational data from Vitality and the McKinsey Heart Institute from the past year. And it is very clear. I mean, we don't need to go, each one of us, to do a lot of analysis, although we have big data which is representing the things. But almost 1 day a week is kind of lost per employee for an employer with the psychosocial risk. And this 1 day lost is not just the absenteeism, but the term presenteeism, which could be used here, being present physically but not being able to contribute to the organization, also becomes one of the lost days. So it's like 50 days per year. And it is a driver for the poor mental health, which becomes the #1 cost. Nearly $4,000 is lost per employee per year on mental health. So the challenge is big, and the solution through AI, if it is there, it is a good thing to go ahead with. So I would like to show an example of how AI could be helpful with its innovative approach, so that everyone in person could be helped with to deal with their psychosocial risks. And there is a full flow of things which could happen through mobile phone at the tip of your fingers, and like we are using every day to find a way to the expo venue. We use what are the various things which we could use to come here, what are the means of transport. Likewise, there are certain apps in the market which could help our employees and also the citizens in individual to be self-aware about their mental health status, but also do some active interventions to remove these psychosocial risks. And this is AI enabled, but it also has a human interface in there. So how it can be used, I'll just go ahead with the next slide. So firstly, there is a predictive system for early detection of burnout, and this could be used to assess the well-being of a person. And then there is a well-being radar, which is created through these apps. For example, what is here in the radar is based on the Maslach's burnout inventory, which would help a person by asking a few questions, which would not last for more than a couple of minutes, in which the assessment of well-being levels is determined. And I've just mentioned here that it is fully confidential, HIPAA compliant apps which are available in the market, which could be used to for everyone's well-being. And what are the factors which are included while you are trying to look through this app? So it is into mostly these 5 realms. Firstly, about the mind, which would measure the psychosocial well-being and how the person is able to accept the risks present around that person in the personal and the professional life. And the next is on the rest and recreation. So the person, while answering these few questions, would be able to assess whether the amount of rest which he or she is taking is enough for that person or not. And then there are a lot of reflections on the body as well, whether there are any lifestyle habits, whether there are any things which in daily life the person may change to make the life better. And also very important, the fourth one is on the relations. So there are a couple of anonymized questions which are asked, which would make the person aware whether the relationships in that person's life are leading to this psychosocial risks and the state of burnout. And lastly, the work as well. So if the person is able to handle the risk arising out of work or not is also considered under this whole analysis, which happens in the beginning in the couple of minutes once the person logs in. Now, what is the further step which happens? And this goes all through the AI algorithm, and there is this self-care content and the exercise which are tailored to the needs of the person based on the radar which is created, comes up to them, and they are able to use those as per their wish and the time. And there's a wide library of these contents, including some 300 hours of meditation, which we are providing in our organization, for example, and it is in all the languages. So anyone who would like to use the app in their own language, we have tried to include all the languages so that employees feel better and they get the content in their own languages without the barrier of language. And there are a few self-help skills also tailored for that person. So it is about work, and if the conflicts are arising at work because of the lack of skills, so to say, but if it is due to some personal insights because of which the personal growth is getting hindered, to a wide range of topics which are ranging from the anxiety, or someone is troubled with achieving the work-life balance, and then some self-care topics like practicing mindfulness, how to increase the confidence, and if someone wants to go into detail of the relaxation techniques, but also some help tips based on the work, like to prevent the procrastination, how to be present, because the presentism physically and mentally are two different topics. So these are a few self-help topics which are present into the app, which would be generated, co-created based on the first kind of the input which the person gives based on the AI algorithms. And the next part is the human interface. So you are not able to cope with the psychosocial risks and you would like to speak to someone, if you're open enough to speak to them, then there is a whole team of psychologists based around the globe who can be contacted. And these are not just to give you a psychotherapy or the counseling sessions, but we have also hired a few career coaches, so they will also give you an insight on how to deal with the conflicts or work-related algorithms. So wide range of topics ranging from the mental well-being topics, but also on the coaching. And there are a few topics which we have recently introduced based on the demands coming around. So it is around grief, the personal loss, it's around the family needs, but we have introduced this to the family members as well. So if the parents are struggling with handling of children and adolescents with the issues of addictions, or themselves are troubled with the addictions, or if they have someone in the family to take care of with ADHDs, so you have got coaches to support you for that. And this is the part, this is the personal gain which they have as an employee, but as an employer, how are we getting the data from the inputs which they put in the app? So it is aggregated and anonymized data. We don't go into the personal details of what the employees are mentioning, but these anonymized data come to us with the kind of scales, and we are having a scoring system. So that gives us a comparison across the globe, and it also helps us coming up with the personalized interventions based on the data which we get. Suppose if the most served topic is around sleep or is around anxiety, we would consider that theme during the whole year to train our employees as well as the managers. And as the speakers in the beginning talked about the big data, as an organization, we are close to 60,000 employees, including contractuals. So we are trying to utilize the big data and integrate so that we have a predictive model to cover the psychosocial risks. And this comes from various aspects like the HR data from the SAP Workday, which also which is considering the attrition, absenteeism data, but also the engagement survey, which we carry out during the whole year, and the insurance claims, as well as the well-being data, which is in the public domain. So using all these things, we are able to synchronize and come up with the solutions for our employees to become a healthy workflow force altogether. So with this, I'll hand over to Roting again.
Thank you, Samir, for sharing the application of AI apps in the workplace. And so powerful tools come with responsibility. And our next question is, what do we need to watch out for? So here I highlight 3 critical issues that deserve particular attention. The first one is when technology doesn't see everyone. We know that AI or those big data we train using existing data. So if the data don't include minorities or some special populations, we may, the application may not fit them quite well. And the second point, here I want to highlight one story in a study published in the Lancet Regional Health. It has a WhatsApp-based mental health tool for older adults in Brazil. And the tool was simple, scalable, and high engagement, but the effective was low, even almost no effect. Why? Researchers explain that because those older people, they need mental health support from human, not ape. So that's why the ape is cheap, easy to use, but not so effective. The second point is when AI gets too personal, I think over the past few days, we heard about data privacy issues. So we want to help, we want to apply, but we also need to pay attention to sensitive data, personal data. So the question I think we must keep is, do workers have a meaningful say in how their data is used, okay, when we apply the tools? The third point is evidence and trust. Many digital tools sounds promising, but when enter the workplace faster than those tools have been verified. So I think we must keep humble and keep in mind that it should be evolve again, okay, the tools. So concern is, we know those concerns, and here, according to OECD report, 27% of managers also concerned about AI may harm worker mental health. So I think we need to be careful about that when we apply that, but we should apply. I think that is what we need to do. And context matters. I'd like to share 2 simple examples. The first one is in Germany. There was a study published in this year. It was a 20-year longitudinal study. They follow up over 18,000 workers to see whether exposure to AI to work affects their physical and mental health. Okay, 20 years data. And the result is what? No evidence of harm. So that's from Germany. And the researcher explained that there was even some signs of improving physical health. Why? Because AI or robots can help reduce our physical burden. Okay, so that is the story in Germany. And the researcher even further explained when AI introduced into the workplace, labor protection mechanism exists, like union co-determination and structured worker consultation before deployment of these AI tools into the workplace. So I think that is a successful story here. Another case is that last year I attended a meeting, an international conference, And this is case from South Korea. And Dr. Kwang-woo Kim, a psychiatrist, he noticed his patient from call centers. Many of them suffer from depression. Why? Because nowadays we call call center for help. AI answer first, right? And so AI replace human. It's fine. But the call center workers say, originally they can solve the very small problem at the beginning. But if now AI replace them, so AI is too polite and sometimes cannot understand what people say. So when customer get really angry, human need to get a phone call and they get depression. So I think when we apply those technologies, we need to consider human feelings. So I want to close using this slide. Across everything we have explored over this few days and today, one message stands out: to align innovation with well-being. Governance must lead the way. The impact of AI depends on how we design it, how we implement it, and how we support it. And that environment ultimately is built by us, by people. As occupational health professionals, we can lead the evidence, empathy, and accountability at every step. The future of work will reflect the value we chose to invest in. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Roting Lin and Dr. Chaudhary for this interesting presentation that I think made all of us reflect a lot on how much ethical issues are also implied into the use of AI in workplaces. Also, when it is for the benefit of workers, still we need to consider a lot of aspects that relate to ethics. So this is something that we need to work on for the future, maybe all together. Thank you again. And I now would like to leave the floor to my co-chair for a closing remark.
Okay, we got a few minutes to take a question and answer. If you have any questions or comment about the presentation, please raise your hand and we'll take some questions. All the presentation was clear. My question goes to Kong Tang, and today we have the G20, the meeting, the Minister of Labors, and then Australia. The injury is the employer has to report the injury, but then now they try to get a report for psychosocial factors. And then the question was, at the time, what is the definition of psychosocial factors? Do you have any idea to support this new policy, and how to get the psychosocial factor using your idea about in the data management or something? Very difficult question.
Yeah, that's So the question is about how we can convince stakeholders to use the definitions so we move forward. Yeah. So those definitions that I provided from Stavro Laleka have been widely used. So those are quite easy to understand, and I think it's kind of easy to explain this to stakeholders. I would really use a lot of the guidance documents that she and her team have been working on, because her expertise, like she's better than me on this connection with policymakers. And there are a lot of policy documents that can help address this. I know that she's working on the application of laws in different countries and comparison studies in the effectiveness of such laws in the prevention of psychosocial factors. There is evidence that implementation of law is effective.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. And any questions? And I want to ask in the Changwon, and you said using AI, you identified the 27 high-risk group, but in this high group post for 78 the major accident. And how can you make the algorithm or to identify this risk group? Or can you explain more in detail? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, good question. We used the XGBoost algorithm among various machine learning methods. The reason is XGBoost algorithm was selected due to its strong performance in clearly differentiating between high risk and low risk workplaces in terms of accident likelihood. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah. Any questions? Yeah, I think, yes, it's one question. Please use the microphone in the middle of, yeah.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mlan Vonchali from Eswatini. I'm interested in the app that assesses your well-being. How do you get it? What is the name of the app, or is it in the market already, or it's something that it?
Who directed your questions? Oh yeah. Oh.
Yeah, the app is already in the market. I'll just give you the details. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for the audience for participating this session, and the speakers for doing excellent presentation. Digitalization and AI or database management is the important issue in the future. It will be convenient sometimes for us, but then sometimes it's very sometimes it also be harmful to the workers. So we have to consider this aspect too. And I also thank you very much, KOSHA, for organizing this session. And KOSHA is a long-standing ICO sustaining members. And then, so thank you again. And if you are interested in an ICO membership, so you can go website and ICO, just you can apply to ICO membership. All speakers are belonging one scientific committee and work organization and psychosocial factors. ICO has this kind of the scientific committee 37, and then it depends on interest. You can join any scientific committee and then exchange your knowledge and experience with other scientific committees. Okay, I want to conclude this session, and thank you very much again for your participation, and thank you very much, my co-chair, and thank you very much. And the speakers, please come to take a photo together.